this evening. It's our first speakerthon, and this is meant to give good traction to our members in terms of achieving their projects. So I want to invite and to present to you our speakerthon master of the evening, our very good member, fantastic Joe Mukoko, Toastmaster. Take it over.
Thank you, Mr. President. Good evening, Toastmasters and guests present in the room. We welcome you to our meeting number 78, a Speakerthon, the first one for 2025. Feel free, feel welcome. First business of the day. Allow me to just take you through our brief meeting etiquette so that we can all be aligned. I would kindly request that we all, there we go, yes. I would kindly request us to all rename ourselves. For speakers, SP1 _ your name. For example, SP1 _ Joe Jones. For the evaluators, EV2 _ your name, i.e. EV2 _ Mary Martha. For all the other role takers, if you're a grammarian, you're a timer, the role that you're taking, then _ your name. For example, accountant _ Kimani Omolo. Any visiting guest Toastmasters in the room, your name _ your club, i.e. Jen Musau _ Kiambu Toastmasters. For all the guests in the room, guest then _ your name, i.e. guests _ Martin Mungaro. Kindly have your video on if possible, and when speaking, your video has to be on according to Toastmasters protocol. Please mute your microphone when you're not talking. Ensure your background is non-distracting. This meeting is being recorded for quality purposes, and enjoy yourself. Welcome to meeting number 78. The mission of Toastmasters International is to empower individuals to become more effective communicators and leaders. And the clubs provide a supportive and positive learning experience in which members are empowered to develop communication and leadership skills, resulting in greater self-confidence and personal growth. This evening, we are joined by an amazing team of Toastmasters who have heeded the clarion call and are on their way to accomplishing their set pathway objectives. And to help me run this meeting, I am joined by evaluators, timer, and an accountant. I will bring on board my accountant to tell us what he will be looking out for this evening. Toastmaster Joseph.
Thank you very much. Our speakerthon master, my role this evening is that of the accountant. I will be taking a keen ear. I'll be listening keenly to our speakers and our role takers in terms of their flow of the information. And as they are taking the page, they will be noticing the use of words such as so which are in English language, filler words. Filler words are put in when you are not really prepared to offer your speech, and therefore affect your communication. We can better in communication by using filler words, which can sometimes just distract the message that you are putting through. I want to wish all the speakers and all the role takers a very connected delivery of their speeches. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Joseph. And for this evening, I shall also double up as your timer. And my role as a timer is to time the formal speeches and the evaluations. I will also alert each speaker of the time they have left using the green, yellow, and red cards, which denote specific times remaining. This evening, we do not have table topics and we do not have icebreakers. We have prepared speeches, which are 5 to 7 minutes in length. At 5 minutes, I shall raise the green card. At 6 minutes, I shall raise the yellow card or amber, depending on where you are. And at 7 minutes, I shall raise the red card. For the evaluations, they shall take 2 to 3 minutes. At 2 minutes, I will raise the green card. At 2.5 minutes, I will raise the yellow card. And at 3 minutes, I will raise the red card. We shall also pin the screen so that when you are speaking, you shall be able to see as we speak. Ladies and gentlemen, the journey towards being a great Toastmaster entails you being able to not only walk on your pathway, but collaborate with others on the journey towards achieving your set objectives. This evening, we have 3 amazing ladies who shall be delivering their speeches. And I would like now to bring on stage Faith Mbushi, who will be delivering her level 3 project 2 speech, 5 to 7 minutes in length, and she's being evaluated by Noramboya. Noramboya, over to you as you tell us more about Faith Mbushi's speech.
Good evening, Toastmasters and friends and guests. I'd like to introduce Faith Mbushi, who is not new. She's part of the BD Toastmasters Club and a seasoned speaker, so to say. Faith this evening will be attempting her L3, P2, and her speech that goes with the times is titled, "Is Digital Revolution a Friend or a Foe?" Is digital revolution a friend or a foe? Faith Mbushi is digital revolution a friend or foe? Welcome.
Brikicho Banture, Brikicho Banture. Does that sound familiar to anyone in the room? If it does, it will age you. I imagine Gen Zs, Gen Alpha do not know that call out. That was a call our childhood games, our version of hide and seek, with a thrilling shout of "Tipo!" marking victory. Those were the days. Today, I want us to consider a question. Is a digital revolution a friend or a foe? I want you to reflect on how technology has changed our world, its impact on our children playing and learning. How do we as parents, grandparents, and future parents design solutions for the best outcomes for our children today? So I'll ask you a question today in the room, and please respond on the chat. How many of you are parents or aunties or grandparents? If you are, please respond yes. Awesome. I can see some responses. For many of us, technology meant TV. We had it start at 5 p.m. or radio, listening to sundowners in the evenings when you were growing up, or watching TV for evening news. We spent our days playing. I don't know if you heard that sound, but it was supposed to bounce. We were playing hide and seek, exploring the woods outside with our cousins, chasing butterflies and playing in rivers. In fact, I dare say some of you learned how to swim in a river. I don't know if this was your experience as well. We would pack our clothes and travel with our parents for a whole month to visit our grandparents, or what we call shushu or dani in some languages. When we were there, I just remember that we would sit around the fire and she would be cooking and telling us stories, and we learned so much about our heritage from those storytelling sessions. These experiences that I've described, they gave us a deep, deep, deep connection with nature. They enhanced our social skills and fostered our imagination as we were thinking about the Mau Mau revolution, the World War, how they participated. And it also helped us solve problems. Now, listen to me keenly. Let's talk about today, our children today. And I don't know how many of you have seen our children wearing this or scrolling like this. And if they're reading, they're probably using a tablet or a Kindle. They have access to information. That's a fact. They have created chat rooms. They have virtual relationships. They have friendships. These are good things. They have artificial intelligence, and I've talked about that before. It makes learning engaging because you can see the mitochondria like it was live on a screen, and we couldn't because we had to use a microscope, where we had to line up. Children are learning digital skills. I don't know how many of your children can already type or code or create art and music through technology. But I want you to get me clearly. It's not an either or situation. Today's children, we call them digital natives. They're growing up, as I said, with smartphones and tablets and virtual realities. These have replaced our traditional games that I've talked about. So the topic today is digital revolution, a friend or a foe? That's the question I wanted us to reflect on. But the more important question is, what has technology replaced and what are the impacts? So first, allow me to say this. Technology for many has become a babysitter. If the baby is crying, you'll find parents handing over this device for the baby to stop crying. And you will realize it delays developmental growth or milestones. Some children can barely speak. When physical play outside is limited, obesity is on the rise, and even poor physical health. The second thing I'm hoping that we can realize is that the more they interact with these screens, it reduces the human interaction, speaking. So their social skills are reduced. We see phones and screen addiction and tantrums when these devices are taken away. A higher percentage of young people now have mental well-being issues, anxiety issues, loneliness. They struggle to develop resilience. So what can you do? What can we do? We must remember that humans thrive on physical connection, laughter, smiling, outdoors. All these produce hormones that reduce stress and boost happiness. It helps us develop social emotional skills. Therefore, as I asked, if you're a parent, a business leader, a solution creator, I urge you to spur the future generation. What do I mean by that? SPIR. SPIR. S standing for storytelling. Let's prioritize human storytelling over screens. Number 2, P, let's praise effort. Give our children opportunities to struggle, to fail. Praise effort over quick technology solutions. I, imagination. Let's introduce activities that build attention, chasing butterflies, looking at ladybugs in nature. Let's introduce art and crocheting and knitting and music and nature exploration. And R, resilience. Increase resilience through outdoor activities. As we reflect on this digital revolution, we must acknowledge that its undeniable presence. We are so hooked, all of us, including parents, to these devices. It's not about turning our back to the clock of where we were, what we used to do, but rather about steering a future with intention. As parents and guardians, we need a balanced approach. We need to ensure that our children are experiencing the magic of the digital world, but also the physical play, the human connection, the joy of discovery. And by doing so, we empower the next generation, not just to be digital natives, but well-rounded, resilient, imaginative, and truly human beings. Thank you.
A round of applause for Faith Mbushi. You have actually talked about Brikisho Banture, and I wondered, some of us in this room, I don't think we remember how Brikisho Banture used to be like. So maybe during our social, we should play Brikisho Banture and see who is going to win. Thank you very much, Faith, for even reminding us that despite technology coming along, we still are able to develop the technology that we have inside as we move by storytelling, praising effort, using our imagination and allowing them to use their imagination to grow and helping them build resilience. Thank you very much, Faith Mbushi. Coming up next on stage, all the way from Simba Toastmasters, Toastmaster Mercy Wamboi, Level 2, Project 1 speech, 5 to 7 minutes, being evaluated by the one and only Mwikali Mwango. Mwikali Mwango, the stage is all yours.
Thank you very much, our Speakerthon of the evening. My apologies, my video will be off. I am pleased to be introducing Mercy Wachira, who will be attempting level 1 minute. Is it level 2, project 1? Kindly reconfirm.
Yes,
sorry,
yes, level 2, project 1.
Yeah. Thank you. So the purpose of Mercy's speech is 1, for her to identify her primary leadership style or styles, and 2, for Mercy to share some aspect of her primary leadership style or discuss leadership styles in general. Mercy Wachira, how can I help? How can I help? Mercy Wachira.
You don't have to be the most experienced voice in the room to have a voice that matters. By a show of hands, or maybe even putting in the chat, how many relate to this statement? Great, I see some hands. And what about the famous saying, fake it until you make it? Easier said than done, right? Recently, I came across an article on LinkedIn, and the article talked about how often when you're surrounded by people who are the most experienced, the most loudest, or even older than you, some of us tend to take a step back behind the scenes and become invisible. That hit home for me. It took me back 2 years ago when I was at a meeting with the National Bank of Ethiopia, the vice governor, the governor, and the other senior leaders, officials from the country. I was a junior in the team, and I felt intimidated by my colleagues and the presence of the senior leadership in the meeting. I confused being junior to being invisible, and I shrank myself. Looking back, I've received great advice from leaders and communicators that I admire. But applying that advice has been something else to me. 1, because I'm introverted, so I've always been the quiet one, the shy one, and the one who did not believe in herself to speak up, even though I knew the topic quite well. Midway last year, I made a choice to bet on myself. And here's the truth that I really wish I learned earlier. That you don't have to earn your voice by knowing everything. You just earn it by showing up and speaking up even when your voice is shaking. And this applies to leadership too. Leadership is not about having all the answers. It's about contributing your lens, your personal experience, and for the introverts like myself, your silent clarity. I have encountered different leaders throughout my career, and I look at myself as being on a journey on leadership. As I grow in this journey, I know the kind of leader I really don't want to be. And that is my first boss. His name was Kimathi. That leader made me cry. He made the team cry. In fact, I think if tears were M-Pesa transactions, we would all receive daily messages telling us that we have exhausted our daily limits. Kimathi was brilliant, but in my opinion, he lacked emotional intelligence. He was that kind of a leader who, when you see him coming towards you through a hall, you will just fake an urgent email you want to respond to just to avoid the small chit chat or even eye contact. And my question to you is Business Dialogues, what kind of a leader are you? Have you ever taken time to reflect this? Would you say you're the kind of a leader who's result-driven as well as a team player? Or are you the kind of leader who your team is striving to survive from Monday to Friday and they sigh a breath of relief on Saturdays? Over the years, I've worked with great leaders. Some have even become my friends. And one thing that I learned is that in leadership, you have to keep on learning and unlearning. I strive to embody 3 types of leadership skills. The first one is the autocratic but effective leader. And when I was thinking about this, the person that came to mind here was the one Edwin Moindi, and he's been in this club several times. I asked him, what is your leadership style? And he told me his style is to bite and to reward. Think of him as that leader who will push you to the limits, but then again, take you to Nyamachoma afterwards at Njugunas. And I mean the old Njugunas, not these new Njugunas that we are currently seeing here. Secondly, the transformational leader. And our club president came to mind. She's the type of leader who will convince you to climb Mount Kenya, think that it was your idea, even if you were voluntold. That aspect that I strive to embody is the servant leadership. And for the people who've watched New Amsterdam, you are familiar with Dr. Max Goodwin. His motto is always, how can I help? He always asks the teams these questions and ensure that once in a while he brings snacks to a meeting to build the leadership camaraderie. The truth is, great leaders learn to adapt. And as Jim Collins says in his book, From Good to Great, for leadership is, first of all, to ensure you have the right people on the bus and get the wrong people off the bus. And in this case, you have to ensure the bus driver is not Baba, still promising us to go to Canaan 5 years later. I leave you with these questions as leaders. What kind of a leader do you want to be? And if you're really, really unsure where to start, you can begin with a simple question to your team. How can I help? Back to you, Speakerthon Master.
Thank you very much, Mercy. How can I help? And for reminding us that we choose how to lead our teams if we want them to perform better. So will we be autocratic, transformational, or the servant leader? Or can we combine all of them? I like the challenge that you've thrown to us. How can I help? And remember, speak up, show up, and speak up, even when your voice is shaky. Thank you very much, Mercy, for that delivery. And I can assure you that the new Njugunas, the Nyamachoma is better. I have seen Faith saying she'll sponsor us there for lunch. Thank you, Faith, for offering to do that. Our third speaker of the evening is Gladwell Mwiti. Gladwell, welcome back to Business Dialogues. And she'll be delivering her Level 3 Project 1 speech, 5 to 7 minutes in length. And she is being evaluated by, if I'm not wrong, Toastmaster Catherine Mate. Toastmaster Catherine Mate, the floor is all yours.
Point of order, our speakerthon. She's being evaluated by Caroline Maundo. I'll be evaluating Nora. Sorry about that.
Okay. All right. So I think we need to change our tags. I'm sorry about that. Toastmaster Caro Maundu, confirm that you can see me and you can hear me.
Point of order, I think she may have dropped off.
She's dropped off. Okay, this is BD. We rock
Gladwell, are you able to reach out to her?
and roll. If she's not able to reach out to her, Catherine, can you be able to assist us? Yes.
Just a second, her speech level?
Her speech level is Level 3, Project 1, 5 to 7 minutes. Maybe I can give her a minute to reach out to you and chat, even as we take a quick break. Toastmaster Gladwell, kindly reach out to Toastmaster Catherine Mate on chat and just update her on your speech. You have, hey, speed
Catherine,
of lightning.
please check
We
your
were being
WhatsApp.
told here, technology.
Yes, I've seen it.
Yeah, this is fast. Faith, are you seeing technology at work? But we'll still play Nini Brikisho Banturi. That we still need to play, whether we went to group of schools or the district education board. Toastmaster Catherine Mate, alert me when you're ready to rock and roll.
Sure. Yes, I'm ready.
Fantastic. The floor is all yours.
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and guests. This evening, I have the pleasure of evaluating the president of Juja Toastmasters, Gladwell Mwiti. She'll be attempting her Level 3 Project 1 speech. And the purpose, her speech is visionary, her pathway is visionary communication. And the purpose of the speech is for the member to practice developing a communication plan. I will be looking out for, the project has spent time developing a communication plan. I will listen to her fully organized speech. I'll be looking at the structure of the speech, and there may be, basically. So visionary communication, what is the speech title, Gladwell?
The power of planning.
The power of planning, Gladwell Mwiti. Gladwell Mwiti, the power of planning.
The meaning of life is finding your gift. The purpose of life is giving it away. Fellow Toastmasters and guests, I am a Sunday school teacher, not by choice, but because of circumstances. I am not very well gifted there, but that's where I found myself. But in the midst of it, I found my purpose and made use of my gift. last Sunday, we had our fundraiser for the children ministry. These children had to raise 1 million shillings, and this was to be done by a congregation of less than 50 families. We sat down with my chair lady, I being her vice, and called a meeting of all our teachers. That was 2 months ago. The purpose of this meeting was to plan and strategize on how to raise 1 million shillings for the children ministry. So we had the teachers come up with ideas. Remember, 2 heads are better than 1. This is what they came up with, and these were the suggestions. We need to come up with items to sell. We need to identify our guests. We also need to identify a way to raise that money. We also need to find a way to communicate to our congregation in a way that they'll be able to understand and buy into our idea of raising the funds and to be able to meet our target of 1 million shillings. As we came up with the ideas, we had to give responsibilities to each and every teacher. And what was the responsibility given to me? To communicate about the fundraiser to all and ensure that they get the message. Now, this is where my gift comes in. I love being a moderator. I love speaking. I love being an MC. I was ready to take up my role by all means. But what did that mean? I had to plan on how to communicate. Number 1, I had to identify who my audience for the communication was. Number 2, what mode of communication I would use. Number 3, what the tone of my communication would be. And number 4, what were my timelines on my communications. Remember, that is very important in your communication plan. So these were my audience. Number 1 was our children. Number 2 were the parents of these children. Number 3 were the other congregants. Number 4 were the guests we wanted to invite to come and support us for this activity. Then I needed to think about, and with the help of the other teachers, what were the modes of communication that we were going to use. Number 1, we decided to have a physical meeting with the parents. The reason for this fundraiser was to raise money to buy furniture for classes that had been built at the beginning of the year. So we called them for a meeting in those empty classes. First, to have a feel and see the classes were empty. Secondly, to understand that this was their responsibility to help us furnish those classes. And we needed to help them remember in the next 2 months, we had to raise 1 million shillings. That was the first mode of communication we used. For the children, we got a card that would help them raise money for that event. And with this card, during the following Sunday school class, they were given the cards and were able to be informed what they were doing with the card and why they needed to raise money from their relatives and from their friends and teachers in school. Thirdly, that was a card. Thirdly, we had to use a flyer. This flyer was to be sent out. And as we sent out, we had to agree on what were the timelines to send them. First, we had to send the cards out to our guests after making a call, which is still online. And then you send out the card to be able to invite them officially. That was 2 months in advance to remind them. Secondly, the timeline again was that 2 weeks before the fundraiser, I had to send a reminder card to our guests and now start hyping the occasion on our WhatsApp groups in the church, making it exciting. And the tone was very exciting because we were hyping it. We wanted people to buy into the idea of coming into this fundraiser with us and raising the money. We did this every 2 days with a different activity, communicating it differently to ensure that we attract attention. That is how we did it until the D-Day in the morning. Finally, we had activities that would excite the children during the last week. Every day they were with us in church, practicing for the presentations they would do, so that when they go back home in the evening, they are able to keep talking about it and about it and about it with their parents, so that they are able to get money for the fundraiser. In general, I hope you got the 4 points of planning your communication. Remember, you have to know your target audience and how to work with them. Then you have to know your mode of communication. Thirdly, you have to know the tone. This was an exciting activity, so we hyped it. Number 4, you have to have timelines on when to do your communications. Therefore, I can tell you proudly that we achieved our target last Sunday and will be furnishing the classes for our children. How did we do it? We planned and we achieved. Remember, failing to plan is planning to fail. Back to you, Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you very much, Madam President, Toastmaster Gladwell Muiti. Failing to plan is planning to fail. And for even taking the tenets of Toastmaster back into your own life and making sure that it works as you talk to your audience, and having a timer, a timeline. So you had a green, orange, or yellow card running. Very interesting. The meaning of life is finding your gifts, and the purpose of life is giving it away. Deep. Where else do you get these speeches? These sayings, nice offers for lunch and games, and a powerful reminder to use our leadership voice to grow our teams other than business dialogues. So thank you very much, Faith. Thank you, Mercy. Thank you, Gladwell. It's a speakerthon. I will give our evaluators a minute or so to just tally or finish writing up. And as they do that, I'm going to do a quick round of fire with Faith Gladwell, Gladwell and Mercy. Faith, what's your favorite digital tool?
It has to be a Kindle.
Why a Kindle?
Because I can take away my books, without having a whole suitcase of them, just in a small little gadget.
If I was to take it away, would you survive?
Oh, yes. I prefer actually the physical books. It's just convenience.
Fantastic. Thank you very much. Take a sip of water as we get ready for the evaluations. Toastmaster Mercy.
Yes.
How has your leadership journey been despite the changes in your sector?
I would say it's a mix of both challenging and fun, because you're always reminded to bring fun to work. Challenging because sometimes when you're leading cross-functional teams that are located in different countries, different culture, different experiences, sometimes as a woman, you face some subtle resistance. And so you have to be able to balance between being more harsh and also ensuring that you're approachable to get things done. And of course, reminding yourself like life is short, you have to enjoy everything that you're doing and ensuring that the team that is working for you is also having fun and enjoying their job as much as you have some deliverables to meet. So it's a balance of fun and also being harsh.
All right. Thank you very much for you actually living out what you spoke to us today. Find the balance, but still drive your team to perform. Toastmaster Gladwell. What's next for you in your journey with your children, even as you give away more of yourself and invite others to work with you? She will come back to answer. So I move on to the evaluations. Toastmaster Nora, confirm that you're ready to rock and roll.
Good evening,
You're good. You're good to go.
Toastmaster. Yes.
Okay.
But
Allow me
point
to
of
just.
order, I will call Catherine Mate to intro because it's also being evaluated. My evaluation is being evaluated.
The
Yes.
evaluation is being evaluated.
Yes.
Thank you very much. Wow. So, ladies and gentlemen, I love this show. Gladwell has 2 evaluators. Nora is being evaluated and she is evaluating. Wait, this is some serious feedback. Toastmaster Catherine Mate,
Yes.
I bring you on stage even as you introduce Toastmaster Nora to us. Over to you.
Good evening to fellow Toastmasters and guests. Once again, I will be evaluating an evaluator, Nora Mboya. She is attempting her level 1 project 4, where she's having her evaluation evaluated. The purpose of this project is to practice applying feedback and to serve as a speech evaluator during the club meeting. The purpose of the speech is for the member to deliver constructive feedback on another member's presentation. Nora will be attempting her evaluation on our first speaker, Faith Buchi. Welcome, Nora.
Thank you very much. And good evening again, Toastmasters and guests. I'm delighted to be back to evaluate our first speaker, Faith Buchi. Is digital revolution a friend or a foe? And what a timely topic in this age of AI. So is it, ladies and gentlemen, is it a friend or a foe? What did you get away from Faith's speech? I will tell you, I felt she drew us in from the very first words out of her mouth, which was Brikisho Banture. And from there was no stopping her. Faith, the purpose of your project was for you to practice skills needed to connect with an unfamiliar audience. And you did wonderfully well, I must say. I like that you used props. Do you remember the props, ladies and gentlemen? What do you remember her using? Who remembers a basketball? Speakerthon Master, what else did you see? What else did people see? There was a Kindle. And I can actually relate with Faith as far as the Kindle goes because I am a reader and I just cannot do without my Kindle. I have to take it everywhere I go. But Faith, what did you do very well? The intro was fantastic. You jumped in. You did a great job. I liked the choice of the topic. Is it a friend or foe? And I like that fact that you actually showed us the value of the digital space. But then again, you came out and showed us the downside of the digital space, and especially as far as connecting to the children is concerned. I liked that you had rich language. You talked about enhanced social skills. You talked about fostered imagination. And when that was done, you actually came back after you had pranced around a little bit. And that just speaks to your vocal variety and your gestures. You actually came close to the screen and you drew us in. It became intimate the way you were speaking to us. And so we actually started to listen to you, to take it seriously, so that by the time you're coming to the end of the speech, when you're talking about the SPAR, where we should use storytelling, praise, and imagination, and teach the children resilience, we were already so drawn into your speech, such that we also know what to take away. But what can you do better? Because this is a digital space, the one thing that I felt was I couldn't see your face. And so if you would take the time to make sure that you had proper lighting so that we can also see that brilliant smile, that we can also see your expressions, that would also be a big help. But otherwise, your speech was fantastic. You set out to convince us, and you did. And all I can say is the next challenge will be your next speech. Congratulations and well done, Faith. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Nora, and thank you for accomplishing this feat. It's good to see the growth in business dialogues as people take up roles and get out of their shells. Thank you so much. I enjoyed that feedback. You were keenly listening. At some moment, I thought you were the hack master, but thank you very much. I will now call upon Toastmaster Muikali.
Thank you very much, our Speakerthon master, Mercy Wachira. How can I help? Very catchy title that you clearly wove into your story. You definitely have great storytelling skills. Your speech started off with a very powerful introduction, what I'd call a punch that had us hooked all the way. I think it was something akin to this. You don't have to be the most experienced person to make it. Well done. I liked how you walked us through your anxious moments. They were relatable. And the great learnings. For instance, you learned how to earn your voice by speaking up. You're very clear as to the kind of leader you do not want to be. And I must say there are very many Kimathis on the streets who lacked in emotional intelligence. But as clear as you are as to the kind of leader you do not want to be, you're also very clear as to who you'd like to emulate. And so far, you were able to share with us 3 leadership styles that you're working with currently. I like this, autocratic but effective. And this you have learned from Toastmaster Edwin Moindi, who I believe is your VPE. Transformational leadership from your current president, Warugongo. Servant leadership from Max Godwin, New Amsterdam. I believe everybody here has had an opportunity to watch that series. I love your great call to action. You challenged us. You asked us to introspect. What kind of leader do we want to be? And I believe all of us, having listened to the speech, can be able to pick out. We've had different kinds of leaders all across our lives, or all along our lives, and we're very clear what we do not want, but also very clear what we can pick and work with. I struggled, and I will repeat, I struggled to pick out areas where you can challenge yourself. But I also know there's no perfect speech. So as I reread my notes again, I thought to myself, perhaps Mercy, you may have challenged yourself. 1, maybe reenact the leader you do not want to be. I believe there's one conversation you have not forgotten. And what does this do for you? It just gives your story more oomph. It gives us more relatability, all right? I also felt perhaps emphatic gestures. Yes, it is a virtual podium, but maybe you can move, lean into the screen, lean away from the screen, walk to your left, walk to your right. And then perhaps you could think of, as you're having these emphatic gestures done, you could introduce some vocal variety. Because you had your anxious moments, maybe you'd have gone lower, right? When you had this conversation with Kimathi, why it is that you came to the conclusion that he lacked emotional intelligence, there would have been a different kind of variation of voice, because then this adds into your storytelling skills. So all in all, I enjoyed the speech. If you can work on those particular areas, I'm sure you're going to be a phenomenal speaker. Well done, and I look forward to listening in on your subsequent talks. Thank you, and back to your Speakerthon master.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Mwikali. Thank you for that evaluation and even saying you're not seeing places for improvement. Then you went back to read the notes. Very serious. Thank you. Thank you, Toastmaster Mwikali. We now move on to the evaluation of our third speech. And evaluator, Toastmaster Caro Maundu, got back in when Gladwell had begun her speech. I would like, if possible, for Gladwell to get those two evaluations from Caro Maundu and from Catherine Mate, and I would start with Caro Maundu. Caro, how are you this evening? Can Caro hear us? She's dropped off. Okay, Toastmaster Catherine Mate, stage is all yours.
Thank you, Speakerthon master.
Did we give away everything? Were we left back with something? Should we give it all back to Gladwell to take to the church? Over to you.
Thank you. Gladwell Mweti, the power of planning. The power of planning, Gladwell Mweti. What did you excel at? I loved your speech and the chronology of events. You talked about how you were a Sunday school teacher, a role you found yourself in, but you eventually got to love. You talked about the challenges that you had in terms of looking for funds, a funds drive to raise 1 million shillings. The meaning of life is finding your gifts. The purpose of life is giving it away. I love that. I love the energy you had when you were speaking about the children's ministry and how excited you were at making use of your gifts. You're a very good speaker, and it clearly shows in the different forums we've interacted. So this was your perfect moment to shine now that you had a project. You talked about the 4 things that you did to tackle this project. And one was audience. There was the mode of communication to achieve this 1 million. Your tone, how do you communicate the agenda? Timeline on what you needed to do, because remember you had a timeline for last Sunday. So what did you excel at? You excelled at your gestures. You excelled at your stage presence. I love the fact that you were standing so that we were able to see communication, non-verbal communication. You were able to move back, front, and to the side. So we're able to just understand the intensity of the project and what the task was all about and how you broke it down step by step by using the cards for the children, the flyers, the timelines, creating excitement as you head to the Sunday. So the week prior to the day, you made sure the kids were talking about it by having different activities every 2 days so that the guests, the congregants, the parents are all on the same level, gaining energy and gathering all the momentum for the day. And you know what? When the day came, you finally excelled at raising that 1 million. So that gives you a bit of a boost in that whatever you put you put yourself to challenge, then you're able to achieve that. You may want to work on your poses. You may, when you talk about the challenge, the 1 million, take a pause. Let that sink in. 1 million for a children's ministry. It may look like a daunting task given the timelines, but you're able to achieve that. So take a step by step. In terms of excelling at what you did, your whole planning and the purpose of your speech was well executed. So I'd want to say you can proceed on with your other speeches. Thank you.
Thank you very much to Master Catherine Mate for that evaluation of Gladwell Muiti's speech. Are you giving us feedback on Nora's speech here, or it is sidebar? Toastmaster Catherine?
I go ahead?
Yes.
Okay. I'll also be doing the evaluation on Nora's evaluation of our first speaker, Faith Mbushi, who was attempting her level 3 project 2. So Nora is completing her level 1 project 4, evaluating an evaluator. The first thing I loved, Nora, about your evaluation is always your calm demeanor. You're able to compose yourself, you're able to express yourself, you're able to just pick up what it is that you want to say. Your way of communication is very well thought of. So the first thing you picked up was the manner in which the first speaker was able to deliver her speech. Is digital revolution a friend or a foe? Then there was the speech, there was a pause. And then the one thing you picked up was the props that she used, her vocal variety. You also picked up her use of her stage presence and her body variation and tone variation, body movement and tone variation. What kind of leader do you want to be? So we were looking at some of the things Faith was expressing herself. And in the digital era, she was able to take us through what we grew up, Brickishow and all the games and the props that she used. I loved that you were able to pick out that. And we went on a digital journey, starting from back in the day, which she calls the Mau Mau era, and some of the things that we have evolved over time to the current digital space and what our kids are missing out on. So we were able to travel on that journey, and we were able to pick up on what we are missing out currently in 2025. What else did you excel in, Nora? Was your point, the highlights that you gave for Faith in terms of her speech. I love that you were able to pick out areas to improve. You're able to pick out what she excelled at. I'm not too sure there's anything else I can pick out from Nora, to be very honest. Thank you.
Thank you very much. You know, today you are the super evaluator. You know, in Premier League, they normally call it Super Sunday, Super Saturday, when there are many matches. Thank you for just stepping up and filling in the gap and making sure that we could continue. We appreciate you, Toastmaster Catherine Mate. We are still continuing with feedback even as we come to the close of the meeting. And this is the time where, I don't know who was in the meeting that day when we had so many glass hits because of our counter. And I would like to bring on stage Toastmaster Joseph. He was keenly listening. How did we do on Phil Awards this evening, sir?
Thank you very much. I was Speakerthon Master of the Evening and delighted to give this report from the counter desk. I must confess today was a difficult day for me, looking for the errors, looking for the R's and the M's and the R's, because it seems like our speakers this evening our role takers. And remember, we always say that even role takers, as they do their job, they are doing speeches. They were alert, they were prepared, they were ready. So it was a difficult time for me, and therefore I was able to pick that most of our speakers delivered smoothly and delivered very excellently. So well done to everyone this evening. It seems that we were ready for this speaking. And I will note that our Speakerthon master of the evening is a very good master of using very controlled and conscious pauses to make sure that he does not use the crash words. The same to our evaluator, Mikali, very smooth, and whenever there is a challenge in speed, she used very controlled pauses. Very well done, very well done. I could also notice the matching of the speed of the thinking and the speed of the speech by our Mercy, our speaker Mercy. Very well done. And I can tell that most of our speakers this evening really have mastered that, because it is one of the strategies of avoiding the crash words or the filler words. Then great mastery of our topics. Our speakers had the intention of delivering their topics. They had mastered what they wanted to deliver this evening. I always feel very comfortable, very confident when I'm delivering and I have the mastery of what I'm delivering. I will not use those filler words or crash words. So well done this evening. We just had a few use of yes, Speaker Nora had 5 of them. I also took a saw from Gladwell, and Catherine also had 3. So can improve on that. Then Faith, I could not really go for it, but I had noted just one use of or as your filler word. Well done, everyone. You have mastered how to control your speech delivery by avoiding the filler words and the crash words. Back to you, Speakerthon Master.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Toastmaster Joseph, for you were keenly listening to what was going on. Okay. I had the privilege of doubling up as a timer this evening, and I had to listen and then also put down on time. So how did we do on time? Let's bring this up. Let's run. Toastmaster Faith took 7 minutes, 10 seconds, 13 microseconds. She was still within time. Toastmaster Mercy took 6 minutes, 20 seconds, 35 microseconds. She was still within time. Toastmaster Gladwell took 6 minutes, 51 seconds, 25 microseconds, also within time. How did we do on the evaluations? Toastmaster Nora took 3 minutes, 40 seconds, 70 microseconds, 10 seconds above time. I know it was your first one and you're getting used to it. Carry the tips and run. We are so proud of you. Toastmaster Mikali took 3 minutes, 28 seconds, and 3 microseconds. Toastmaster Gladwell took 2 minutes, 40, Toastmaster Catherine for Gladwell's evaluation took 2 minutes, 46 seconds, and 86 microseconds. And for the last evaluation, Toastmaster Catherine took 2 minutes, 00 seconds, 0.03 microseconds, was within time. Thank you very much, all of you, for being time conscious and playing the part. Ladies and gentlemen, the plane has landed. I would have loved to say it in Kiswahili, but the number of grammarians in the room will not allow me. The life of a Toastmaster accords you the opportunity to work with others, collaborate across clubs, pick advice from those that are in your ecosystem. And this evening, Faith, Mercy, and Gladwell, thank you for taking us through that journey with your amazing, impactful, reflective speeches. What more can we do as individuals? I honor you, I respect you, I'm proud of you. And thank you to our evaluators, Catherine, Wikali, Nora, for diligently listening and giving us tips on what can we do better, how can we grow. And to my fellow role taker, Toastmaster Joseph, thank you so much for you actually keenly listened. You are looking for pauses, full stops, and what do you call those things? And the R's and the M's. And thank you for just reminding us we can always use the power of pause and the power of speed. And to our VPE, Toastmaster Frida, thank you very much for your support. Thank you for being the silent listener in the room and even holding fort when you needed someone to hold fort for us. Ladies and gentlemen, it has been an honor and a pleasure being your Speakerthon master this evening. And I look forward to working with you again this journey. And I actually look forward to delivering my speech next week. Yes, we have a meeting on Wednesday. BD members, please remember we have a meeting on Wednesday. Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, coming all the way from Kakamega, Shitwitwi, Shinamonyuli village, deep the people of the sky, Toastmaster Joe Mukoko, handing back controls to the very able President, Joseph Kimotho. Mr. President, back to you.
Oh my. I don't know how that ended with the Shikwekwe Shiswiswi. But well done, our speaker and master of the evening. You have landed the plane very well. You took us through the flight very, very smoothly. We thank you. We thank you. And I want to thank all our participants of this meeting, our meeting 78 Speakerthon. We showed up, we stood up, we did it. And this adds to our progress in our project. Well done. So let's meet next week during our usual club meeting for the next round of our speeches. From this table is just to say, well done, congratulations, and see you next week, Wednesday, a day like this. This should be our physical meeting. This should be our physical meeting at United Kenya Club, where I expect Joe to be delivering a speech. And I hope that I will also be able to deliver my icebreaker speech for my second pathway. See you and a great evening to everyone. Bye-bye.